Welcome to Inside the Firm, a podcast dedicated to small business owners and hosted by entrepreneurs, Alex Gore and Lance Cayko. Each week, they take you on their journey of how to start, run, and grow a business by bringing you inside their architecture and real estate development firm. Get a behind-the-scenes tour of how these business leaders manage their clients and foster company culture while creating new and innovative projects. And now your hosts, Alex Gore and Lance Cayko.
Welcome to another episode of Inside the Firm. I am one of your hosts, Alex Gore. I'm here with Lance, cool with whatever, Cayko.
Nice.
Whatever goes on, he's cool with it, so I'm cool with it. And if you're cool with us, you'll probably be cool with buildabetterco.com. That's where you can build a better company if you are in a leadership position, trying to grow your profit, trying to renew your revenue, trying to make a better business to come into Monday morning. Go to buildabetterco.com. Check out our 5 shifts to 5-figure profits, and then contact me, and we'll talk.
Yeah. If you need product data, let me tell you where to go. Accurate data is crucial, especially in today's business environment. Outdated and inaccurate data leads to turnarounds, delays, and rising costs. With supply chain and staffing issues, these costs and delays can multiply. That's why a resource like RCAT.com is so important. RCAT works with manufacturers to keep their data up to date and accurate and offers it to you easily, accessible, and free. Use RCAT's powerful search engine to find what you need and download it right there on their site without needing to pay anything or even register. So try RCAT.com today. That's ARCAT.com. Last, certainly not least, Duratherm defines the category of an all-wood, completely custom hardwood windows and doors that deliver on your architect vision. And everyone knows it. Al knows it. That's why they refuse to rest on their laurels. And while Duratherm brand is built upon their expertise in wood windows, they are proud to announce the introduction of a clad exterior feature for our windows. Learn more at durathermwindows.com. That's durathermwindow.com. Durathermwindow.com. No
Not plural. Don't plural it.
Don't plural it. Yep.
You'll be in trouble. Go check it out.
Check it out.
I wanted to I like this article. It's from Yahoo Finance, one of my favorite sources for economic information. It's called The Chart Book, 50 Charts Telling the Story About Markets and the Economy Right Now. So I snipped some of them so that we didn't have to go through all of them. And I want to get Lance's reactions, and then maybe if you describe some, I'll describe some. That would be cool. The first one, look at this. And we've already talked about it, but it's cool to see it in a chart. It's money delivered during pandemic is still supporting the economy. So there's a green trend line that is up and to the right. And then there's a purple line of pre-COVID money, which really closely follows that line. Isn't it kind of interesting too? Like, we think that there's people just at the Fed deciding, hey, how much money you're going to get, how much are we going to, just create out of thin air, which is kind of true, but it's very tight within this line. And it essentially goes from 2008 to 2020, and it goes from what would you say, about 5 trillion to just above 15 trillion. And then there's this orange line, which is the post-COVID money, and it shoots almost basically straight up. It goes to a curve to about $25 million rather quickly, and is now coming back down.
25 trillion.
Yes, thank you. 25 trillion.
I was like, wow, million? That's it? Piece of cake. Write a check.
No big deal. We'll solve that right now.
Yeah.
And now they're doing quantitative tightening, but you can obviously see that there's a bubble. And when it's laid out in a graph like this, and I feel like before politicians make a decision, they should say, could you please draw that out for me? Literally like you're a cartoon, like a 5th grader.
That's why Ross Perot almost, that's why he changed how we do elections.
And then
for the worse.
Yeah, they draw this. And then you go, will that have any effect on the economy? Nah. Might be transitory. All right. Second graph. A default cycle has started. So you can see there are U.S. corporations in purple, U.S. speculative grade. So that's probably the speculative debt that goes out to
China and Russia.
Or firms that are lower rated.
Oh, okay.
Right. And then when defaults go up, you can see that it almost correlates with recessions. And right now you can see that the defaults are starting to go up. So good to know. Lance,
Yeah.
what is this one?
Mid and small cap industrial stocks have outperformed ARKK since its inception. What's ARKK?
Do you remember hearing about Kathy Woods?
Yeah.
So she's
Wasn't she the part of the crypto scam stuff? No? Am I off here?
not crypto scam. Just tech, making a bunch of money, blew up on the scenes from 2020. You can see her ARK Innovation ETF.
Yeah, Peter Schiff used to, when I was still listening to Peter, he used to just harp on her all the time.
Good or bad?
Bad.
Okay, this is what's kind of funny is that isn't the tried and true investments is if you're not going to do real estate, you're not going to be a great stock picker. Just put it in the
A
S&P.
mutual, put it in a boring 401k, get your 3% return, and not lose value on your cash.
But
I just had a guy on I think his episode's gonna premiere in 3 weeks or something, and he was talking about how boring stocks are too, and I was like, yeah, I agree.
yeah.
Anyway,
But the advice is just do it in an index fund that tracks the market.
yeah, like very few people get the 25% returns doing the day trading stuff. It's not, especially with the algorithms now too. It's like you're really up against. You gotta hit like a perfect storm, kind of like I did during. If anybody had any cash on the sidelines when the stock market took a big dip on March 16th or 15th in 2020, that was the only way like an amateur is going to make any money.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. I agree with that. So this is just showing. This is Kathy Woods, who for the past 3 years has been all the rage. Went up like, holy cow! If someone was in her investment fund and sold at the height, good for them.
Yeah.
They crushed it.
But now look at it.
It comes back. It's just below the S&P 400, the S&P 600. So I don't know. It was a win for, hey, if you just listen to that advice instead of chasing everything, and if you were ever down on yourself for, I guess I stash away my money in an index fund. You know what? You're doing just as well as Kathy Woods. You should be on the news.
Yeah, if you'd have just stayed slow and steady, that's hilarious.
Right?
Yeah.
You should literally be on one of these shows where they interview, hey, how did you beat Kathy Woods' investment strategy? Well,
Played the
took
long
my
game.
money and I put it in an index fund, and here I am.
Here I am.
Here I am.
I just outlasted her by 5 years.
Yep. This is interesting. I didn't know this. Everyone's heard about Japan's long stagnation, and Japan hasn't done anything since the 80s, and their stock market is crap and stagnant. This chart shows a little bit different. Lance, what are you seeing here?
It looks like a hockey stick-ish.
And
Start
what's
of a
it
hockey
versus?
stick.
Yeah, what's it in contrast to?
It's in contrast to the U.S. S&P 500. So this is the Japan Nikkei 225 index. Wow, it's keeping up right with it.
Yeah.
Huh.
So I think if you looked at from 1990 to 2010, it just went down. It just went generally down. And then you could say from 2010 to 2015, like, okay, it's even. But from 2015 to 2023, like, it has rebounded. It is now beating the S&P 500 index. The reason why I'm bringing this up, too, is because one of the worst scenarios, I think, for the U.S., and actually, let's go on a side rant because of this, is like, we're just going to become Japan.
Yeah, that's what they've been saying, yeah. We'll start doing the negative interest rates, which we did.
Which I think is true, and I'll say why I think is true in a while, but, like, Japan, you can come out of it. You can come out of it. Okay.
You can come out of it, but however, here's the thing about Japan. Like, if we're going to do a contrast and a tangent, then, like, Japan has some of the most strict immigration rules in the world. So they don't have a growing population. And so with that, I don't think they have the amount of entitlements we have, especially with this chain immigration and just the blatant illegal immigration that's happening now. So, like, that's the big, that's the factor that makes it so we can't do apples to apples with Japan. Now we're apples to oranges. We're the orange with it's a swelling orange. Just the amount of immigrants coming in with the entitlements attached is just out of control. So we have. Like, what I'm getting at is Japan probably didn't probably curtailed their government spending in order for this kind of recovery to happen. We can't do that. Like, it's impossible for us to do that.
Well,
We don't have the balls to do it.
This is a great point. Chamath from All In Podcast, he keeps making the argument because he made it once and he's sticking to his guns, and he needs to be the smart contrarian that government spending, anyone who says that there's a limit to government spending versus GDP is running a fool's errands because...
The fool's errand. All
yep,
right,
because there's, people have been crying wolf since the 1980s, since the 60s probably, about government spending, right? Our government spending levels are now to World War II levels. We're not getting the production of the World War II levels, let's be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, the planes, the tanks, like
Yep.
insanity, right?
Yep.
Here's the problem with that level of spending, to counter Chinamov's point, is the government right now, we aren't making loads and loads of planes and tanks and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, we don't make anything. Elon makes a few things, but yeah.
He does make a few things. So what are we doing? We're making a bureaucratic nightmare and mess, and it's literally slowing down the economy, and it's just literally like bureaucratic paperwork. Like, we are making bureaucratic paperwork for that money. So while the government is spending more money, we're making paperwork for that money. And here's the issue too. The government still has to pay interest on that, right? So the interest payments now just surpass the defense spending, right? So whatever defense spending was, interest payments are more than that. What are those interest payments paying for? For bureaucrats to check paperwork, for you to do paperwork, for paperwork that doesn't really matter. And I'm not being hyperbolic about that. I'm being, because we deal with the government.
Yep.
So if you want to live in a society, Lance, where your job is 25 to 50% paperwork and your life is that, then yes, government spending is great and we can just keep on spending and that's awesome. If you wouldn't like that, if you'd like to actually make shit, and actually both ways you can make money, but one you're doing paperwork and one you're actually making shit. I choose the other.
I choose the other too.
And the other argument that I hate is, and we might see this in one of the graphs. Actually, I didn't put this graph in. All the other countries suck just as much as us, so why do we have to change? Like, you're fit, but just take this analogy for what it is. Lance doesn't work out.
Okay.
Like, he doesn't go to a gym.
Yeah, he doesn't do a gym.
Does that affect how much I go to? Do I go to a gym less?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Al basing the way he stays fit on mine? No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lance didn't go to the gym this week, so know what? I don't need to either.
Yeah.
Wait, but
Lance
I want
doesn't
to.
do it. Oh, what did you do then, Al? Well, I mean, nothing. Well, but Lance hikes crazy.
And that's why just ignore that part of it.
I know. I'm playing with you.
But still, like, just take anyone who doesn't like.
Yeah.
It's not a rationale. It's a terrible.
7 wrongs don't make it right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, that was a tangent on that chart. Let's keep going charting. Free deflationary lunch is now over. This is a chart of CPI. It peaked around 14 months ago, and it's coming down. The only reason I included this one was everyone's guessing.
Oh, is that what the right-hand side shows? So he's got a chart up here if you're listening terrestrially. It shows going from left to right, starts at January 2022, and then it's got this vertical line at July, right now where we're at. What are you doing?
Sorry.
Okay. And then it's trending. You know, the high was in like June 2022, almost 10% inflation. Then it trends all the way down to where we're at right now, which is like 3.5%. And then everybody's guessing what's going on. Tell me about the guesses, Al.
So they're just saying, hey, it could keep going down to below 2%. Two, hey, we could go back up to about 5%.
Well, and lumber, yeah. Last episode, we just talked about lumber going up.
Yeah. And this is just what I love is like, this is experts.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
we're all guessing. There was somebody who I blocked on the YouTube channel recently, too. Somehow, if you make an alt account and you see us, like, I'm going to block you again. He's like, you should leave the economy and the politics out of the podcast. This is my podcast. It's Al's podcast. Like, we're going to talk about it. And he's like, you're wrong about it. Nope. If you were a longtime listener, you would have known that Lance actually predicted the 2020 downturn from 2013 onwards. Like, he got it right. We're not right all the time, but we are. Look, and
we're within this.
and we're exactly. That's my point. We're within this guessing. Like shut up. And we have acknowledged many times that maybe the Fed could thread the needle. Like, we're still here. We haven't had to lay anybody off. Like, it seems like they are threading the needle slightly. That's why we talk about economics on this podcast a lot, because we're trying to, and we'll couple it with like the billings of the AIA. Like, it's proof that the billings are up above 50% now. So inquiries are up. Like, it's this up and down, very tight squeeze we're in right now, but it's kind of working. Like, I hate to admit that Keynesianism is working, but like, I'm here to say it seems like it's working a little bit right now.
Yeah.
Like, it hasn't fallen, the bottom has not fallen out. Developers are still moving ahead with these projects, which is wild. I mean, we're having to make some serious adjustments in the commodity, the architecture and everything, but like, it is working somehow.
Can't design architecture. Can't create architecture if there's no money for it.
What it reminds me of is, you see all these storage units that go up all over across the United States, these massive acre to whatever acre size developments where it's a storage. They have all these different storage units. Public storage is like a good example of that. That company, for the first couple years of those developments, they lose their ass. They do. They're cash flow negative, but they know that once they turn cash flow positive, like, it never stops, because people are constantly moving. People are constantly having to store stuff. Like, this is one of the most fail-safe things you could have out there. People are always doing this stuff, and then eventually it's all paid for. Like, once that cost is baked in and everything. So what I'm getting at was with like the developers that are still producing real estate. It's the same scenario. Like, yes, on paper right now maybe they're close to losing money, but they know that like there's a light at the end of the tunnel here. Interest rates are going to go down again, and they know at the bottom of it too, the supply and the demand is there. Like, we are not making, and then you couple that with the golden handcuffs we've been talking about. People tied to their existing mortgages. 75% of Americans have a mortgage rate under 4%. That's insane. That's an insane number.
Yep.
So they're not going to move until it loosens up, and when it loosens up again, and it's going to happen, it's going to be like gangbusters again. So you got to just be prepared. Like, why wouldn't you be prepared?
Well, can I tell you my fear, and then why this is maybe important to digest and understand what's going on? My fear is that they're going to keep interest rates high for 3-4 years, and it's to kill new housing so that everybody becomes renters.
Yeah.
Because big money makes money from renting, not from selling homes. Mm-hmm. Because just like what you said, once you're locked in, you're locked in, and they want to make a locked-in society. And I'm not relating this to COVID. I just mean, like, once you get someone hooked on an iPhone, you're going to stay in that ecosystem.
Even though Al tried to get an Android and he hated it.
I did. Yep. Exactly. So I went back to prison for free.
Congratulations.
But, Lance, follow me here.
I'm following.
If they do that, that crushes architectural engineering. Well, we will migrate over to multifamily housing and all that stuff, but we have a voice, and we can make a difference, and the proof is in the pudding. Do you remember when Obama and Hillary Clinton wanted to go into Syria and literally invade Syria?
Yes.
And literally there was protests like, are you guys nuts? This is crazy. And they had to backtrack. Like, if you've ever watched, I've watched every lead up from the Gulf War I to every war since, right? Everyone could see that was what they were trying to do. And then the people rised up and were against it. So what I'm getting at is that if we're following how the economy works with the Fed and everything that they're doing, if we see literally as a community, as the AIA, as NCARB, as the builders group, that they're keeping interest rates higher than what's needed, we can voice our opinion and say, you're killing it. You're killing it. You need to stop. This is unnecessary.
It's enough. Exactly.
And not to just be talking out of your ass.
No. Bingo. So that's why it matters. Thank you. Boy, that was a perfect Al. It's exactly why it matters. Guy who got banned from the YouTube channel. F off.
I hope he still listens.
Okay, you got another chart for us?
Yeah.
Wow. Housing inventory flirts with historic lows, some kind of acronym, which represents the monthly supply of new houses seasonally adjusted is the ratio of new houses for sale and new houses sold. So this chart is it's just up and down. Starts in 1960. You can see the crazy spike of new houses that were sold in right before the crash, and then we had another big spike, and now we're trending down again.
Yep.
Interesting. Where's the correction? Like when's it? Well, I mean the correction's happening. I mean when's the bottom? Where's the bottom of the correction?
Oh, I don't know. Like, could it go all the way down to this line down here?
Yeah.
Don't want it to. Want it to.
We're getting closer to a balanced market. That's the trend line here. Is like, and a balanced market. Just so you know, everybody. Apparently, it takes up to 5 months to sell a house typically. So this idea that we're used to, it sells in a weekend, which that's what I'm used to. I mean, to be fair to me and Al, he sold a house as well.
Yes, for the past
a week. It was like a week. Stays on the market for a week and you're done. But yeah, it's taken much longer now. Kind of a bummer. But that's what it. But like, keep that in perspective.
Yes. Yeah, but that's been true in Colorado for the past almost 10 years, since 2012.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Going on. Lack of new listings is dampening existing home sales. So this is new listings at the halfway point year to date and first half new listing share. So it's going down. And this, okay.
An all-out collapse in rent inflation could be on the way. Wow. So like rents have been trending down for sure.
Rents have been trending down.
Ooh, it looks bad.
But
there's got to be a bottom here pretty quickly, I would think.
Look at this. I hope this is the next one.
Yeah. Buying versus renting in America. Cost to buy, very expensive. Cost to rent.
So until it would always kind of trend together with costing to buy a little bit higher.
Yeah. But
But the thing though is, if costing to buy is $200 more a month, but at least in the beginning, if you know how mortgages work, you're paying $200 is going to principal, so you're getting that money back, right? From, what would you say, 2020? It went from cost of rent now in 2023 is about $1,800 a month. Cost to buy is $2,700 a month, so that's $1,000. But the switch point is probably around 2020 where cost to buy skyrocketed. Way past.
when you look at these charts, like I think when anybody looks at these charts, I hope they're so like everybody's I think their knee-jerk response is they hear the phrase "what goes up must come down," and they don't think beyond that. They're not trying to be abstract thinkers with it. When I look at these charts, I try to put my abstract hat on and I go, well, what you're saying is true. Like what goes up must come down. By how much, right?
And how long?
And how long exactly? So like I've thought a little bit further, and then the big base layer I add to this is like you guys understand that these kind of charts that show the hockey stick curve, when they show the inflation, just like that's what this is. This is showing inflation basically. How rent is inflated, how buying is inflated. Well, why is it inflated in this way? Because the money supply has been inflated. And we haven't restricted the money supply such that, like, we would have to completely reset the currency which might happen, for it to completely bottom out. I mean, trend line all the way down to like this just chart that I was showing, all the way down to like 1970, which is really interesting that they started in 1970. Because what happened in 1971, that's when we went off the gold standard, and then all the printing happened, and that's where the crazy inflation started happening. So that's what you got to keep in mind. Like, yes, you're right, but you're also not thinking further enough. And you got to keep that in mind. I'm trying to reassure you, listener, that unless they introduce a whole new currency, once again, they might do the CBDC, central banking currency, whatever that is, like it's going to be a digital dollar. And then even then, it's still a backstop. Like you're looking for a depression level Zimbabwe, Weimar type of event to where there is no backstop on currency. Like they don't replace it with something. So I just can't see it completely bottoming out to where we're in Depressionville in that sort of way.
Well, and to broaden that, Lance, you're talking about one side of the equation. You're talking about the demand side because money represents how much demand you can put on a market. The other half of that equation is obviously the supply side, right? And two things are happening right now in the last year. The supply side hasn't
increased.
The supply side keeps going up.
Like trending
no,
upward.
Sorry. The demand side keeps going up.
Yes, the demand side keeps going up.
And
then again,
supply-
I have to throw in the immigration part with that. Like, we can't deny that there's pressure coming in.
But there's a good way to handle it too. Immigration can be a good thing. It can add to your economy, blah, blah, blah. What I'm getting at is that a lot of people will say, hey, if you're just free capitalists, if you're just going to increasing the supply, you're asking for a free for all, you're asking for people to rip people off, you're asking for shoddy work, all this other stuff. No, there can be a balance. I'm not saying that you need to take off all regulations and just let people rip people off and do all this other stuff. But you can't gum up the system so much so that supply can't meet demand. That's what I'm saying, and that's what's happening in the housing market right now. And it's crazy, like, and it's happening all across America. And it's happening too because for some reason there's a huge trend to move in existing cities, and it's way harder and way more expensive to build or rebuild in an existing city than in a suburb. It's just fact of life. I know there's people that argue the other side. It's just not true.
It's not true. It's so not true. I know. I really should have Randall O'Toole back on. Honestly, you should interview Randall O'Toole because I think you interacting with him would be a breath of fresh air. Just everybody knows what I'm talking about, and Al might not even remember, is like Randall O'Toole makes that argument in our favor, where we go, actually, it's cheaper to develop on undeveloped land versus in an urban core going vertically. Yeah. For many, many reasons. I mean, the biggest reason is the bureaucracy. There's just, you take away, because remember, guys and gals, the NAHB, National Association of Home Builders, they do these wonderful, wonderful studies, and they prove that regulations are estimated between 25 and 40% of your building cost. Like, that's madness. Yeah. That's madness. So if you can strip away, if you can get away from that, and you're literally just getting away from a city in order to do that, like, the proof is in the pudding. And then you layer on, everything else on top of that. Like concrete is just more expensive than sticks. Like, get out of here.
And here's an analogy, just because my wife was talking about this, about writing. And I don't know if this analogy will make any sense to you. Lance, is it, if the answer is to write words, if that's the metric that will lower costs, write words.
Okay.
Is it easier to do that on a blank page? Like per letter?
Oh my gosh.
Or per editing?
I am tracking this. I'm
glad that hit.
Yeah.
Or if you're an editor.
That's a way easier way to think about it.
How many letters are you going to edit and change? You're going to do some of it. It just takes longer and you don't get that much of a difference.
I mean, the other one, maybe this is a stretch, is like, is it easier to build with a whole pack of brand new 2x4s or 2x6s versus, well, I got a random pile of them from
a random assortment,
and now I got to build with it. Like that's a little bit. But I'm trying.
The book analogy is great too.
The book analogy is really good. Good job,
You
Annie.
can just write pages.
Good job, Annie.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And on that, I'll take my lead. Lance, the show is yours.
Hey, that was awesome. I like the last part the best. Okay, so what I've got here, the title of the episode today is How Can Architects Get the Best Out of ChatGPT? And so I've got an article pulled up here from the Royal Institute, RIBA. I forget what it is, Royal Institute of Architecture. I totally forgot what that whole acronym is. But I've got
Royal Institutes of British Architects.
There you go. Yeah, which is somehow tied into Australia because now the monarch is with Australia. And I think it's goofy, but whatever. So
how dare you?
How dare I indeed? Yep, exactly. So I've got Nikita Morel, who has been on this show before, invited her. If she listens, she can come back on anytime. Is a copywriter who works exclusively with architects, says in terms of generating copy, architects can use ChatGPT for drafting initial outlines for content. That's what I do. For example, This can include project descriptions, blog articles, proposals, and press releases, or even writing website copy, i.e. website taglines, calls to action, or biographies. I also use it for biographies on the Monday morning show. If people don't have a good bio for me, then I copy and pasta a lot of stuff and then work with ChatGPT to get it done. There's even questions that generates, which are pretty good for me. I even use it 2 days ago to write a cover letter for myself for for one of the teaching positions that I had to just check the boxes, because the university actually emailed me and they're like, sorry, we just legally have to make you apply for the job. We can't just give it to you, blah, blah, blah. And you have to do a cover letter. I'm like, I'm not wasting my time. Literally coming up with an hour, like 10 minutes. That's all I'm wasting on this cover letter. So back to the article. ChatGPT can be a useful tool for brainstorming and generating new research ideas, she says. It often helps spark new ideas or provides different perspectives. For example, if I'm trying to brainstorm ideas for website taglines, I might prompt it with, come up with a clever and easy to understand analogy for, such as challenges of hiring an architect. ChatGPT is also smart enough to tailor material to prospective clients' needs. That I don't know about. Here's where I would start to disagree. Architects could use ChatGPT to find clients' pain points, such as specific problems or frustrations they might have experienced when hiring an architect in the past, she suggests. Identifying these pain points allows architects to align their messaging with their ideal clients' needs and challenges and can enhance the effectiveness of marketing and business development efforts. A prompt example would be, quote, give me a list of 10 pain points insert your ideal clients may be dealing with in regards to insert your service, or give me a list of 10 pain points homeowners may be dealing with when hiring a residential architect for the first time. And then she gives some examples, and that's kind of where I'll cut this off is example of limited ChatGPT prompt. So what she wrote is, write a call to action for the homepage of an architect's website. And here's what it spit out. Ready to bring your architectural vision to life? Let's create something extraordinary together. Contact us now to schedule a consultation and discover how our innovative designs can transform your space into a reflection of your unique style and aspirations. Don't wait another day to start building your own dream home. Click the button below and let's get started. So that was an example. And then there's then she goes on to show, like, here's a better example. Because, like, my take on that one was pretty generic. Not, like, the idea of you being a signature architect, especially residential-wise, is, like, you are trying to differentiate yourself from the crowd. That little generic one didn't do it, right? So here's a better example. Write a call to action of a homepage of a commercial architect's website. We want to prompt ideal clients to contact us for a scheduled consultation. Some ideal clients are ready to chat. Others are doing the research. Make it conversational. Here's what it spit out. Whether you're eager to dive into the details or just dipping your toes in the research pool, we're here for you. A team of expert commercial architects is ready to collaborate and bring your vision to life. Let's chat about your project and explore the possibilities together. Click the button below to schedule a consultation and let's make your commercial space dreams a reality. No pressure, just friendly expertise waiting to assist you. So I was hoping that the article would show us different versions of that. We are also using Photoshop AI. As a matter of fact, we'll be using it over the next week because we took some photos. So this is a little tip for everybody of one of our projects. It has no landscape. So we are going to magnetic lasso or select the landscape that has no landscape, meaning it's just like dirt, but they don't have plants. And we're going to say, create a Colorado landscape, and it's going to create it. It's going to look awesome.
Cool. I know. I do love that. The amount of time and effort it would take to Photoshop landscapes into images and renderings was so heavy. And now it's not.
Now it's not. And that one I really appreciate the most so far.
Here's an idea for all the tech listeners, and there are some to this podcast. Google, I'm talking to you. If you know who I'm talking about specifically, get on this. ChatGPT for filling out bureaucratic forms, Lance. If the government is going to keep spending and doing all this nonsense,
I got one for you too. Besides that, keep going.
Here's one example.
Yeah.
City wants you to fill out a form about how many square footage, what the type, whatever. Hey AI, take this PDF of all of our drawings, look into it, get all the information, put it on this form. Thank you. Fill it out for me. You know who I am. Yeah. You know what my firm is. You know what my address is.
Yeah.
You know what? Oh, it asked for the address of the project. Oh, it's in that PDF there. There it is. Must be that one.
Must be that one. I had a guest on. I've done 3 Monday morning interviews this week, and then they're going to publish over the next month in August here, 2023. And this guy was like, this guy. I said we got to a lot of the guests I've been having on lately are like, if they say something in their bio about AI, I want them on because I want to hear their perspective, and they're from way different industries. Like this guy. One guy's real estate and an author. Another guy, this guy I'm talking about now, was he does web copies, but he's on the level of NPA, but just a smaller shop. Like he couldn't name these mega corporations he used to work for because NDA. So like very very accomplished man. Mm-hmm. And he was giving. I'm gonna have him back on in December because he was giving me some really good ideas. We're gonna focus the episode on how architects could use AI from his perspective, and his idea was. He goes, Lance, I'm sure you have these kickoff meetings or even before a kickoff meeting, before you sign the contract, like you're writing down a list of spaces that they want to do in their houses. You're writing down their fears, their hates, their loves. Maybe they've given you some images for it. And he goes, what you could do is you could feed all of that data into Midjourney. He's like, I just need to show you the right prompts. He goes, your problem is you guys, newbies don't know the right prompts to use. And he goes, but I could develop with you like prompts that would work better for you. He goes, you just have to be better with your prompts, which is exactly the example that Nikita was showing us, like the evolution of the prompts and how they can get better and better and better. Like you're going to get very generic stuff, but you can get more detailed, more personal, better stuff out of ChatGPT or Midjourney or whatever. He goes, what if I showed you the right prompt and you fed all that data into the AI? And what you wanted out of it was, give me an idea board, Midjourney AI, and it produced. Let's say it produced 3 idea boards, just concept boards.
Yep.
It shows different floor plans, different cool images.
Yep.
Materials.
Texture design.
Yes.
Yep.
Textures. Exactly.
Colors. Yep.
And he goes, Lance, what if you took those idea boards, you threw them up on the big screen here, and you talked with your staff who was going to be designing it with you. And you guys mixed, matched, combined, whatever, put the human touch back onto it, and then dove in. He goes, what do you think about that for a starting point? And I was like, first of all, what I know if I think about an idea board, I bet one idea board, let's say we came up with 3 of them, one idea board would take somebody in the firm 4 to 8 hours to produce.
Oh, yeah.
Just searching around, looking on the internet, making the idea board look nice, just literally arranging images in Photoshop.
Yep.
And I go, I think that cuts it down by at least 75 to 80% time.
Yeah.
And he's like, so that's how I see it evolving. Besides, I'm trying to come up with better ideas than just we have a bad image or we took a photograph of a house with no landscape. Here's a tangible solution.
But do you think it'll ever get to this level? Meaning, whenever a technology gets started, the airplane, people go, oh, it goes 50 miles per hour, then it goes 100, now 200, now it's going to go 5,000 miles per hour, then 50,000. We'll be in the next star system literally within 20 years. But it always plateaus. Like, we're not going any faster than we did in 1974, right? But this is what I want. I want that AI in my computer, in my phone. I want the AI architect's assistant who's listening, right? The CIA will have a back door, you know that.
Of course.
And it's listening to everything. And then all of a sudden, I ask, you're the client, like, oh, can AI Al have access to your Pinterest board as well? You know, or your ideas? They say yes, goes in there. By the time we're done with the meeting, I go, okay, AI Al, like put on my computer the inspiration board for the project.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like that seamless of a thing. And I walk up there, the client goes away. I'm like, okay, that's great. You know, and then we start doing the human touch and all that.
Yeah. I mean, there you go. So like I think what Gal was getting at is AI, if you're listening, we just need to keep evolving.
Yes. AI, please.
I
do
guarantee
that.
it's. I mean,
And
come
let
on.
me know.
Like all our audio gets. Did you know all our audio like obviously that's how they can detect if you're talking about stuff they don't want you to talk about on YouTube.
Like what, Lance? That's not.
Yeah. All the audio gets translated to text. And you can seriously.
Do you
So,
know?
like it's already happening.
Well, Zoom's new user agreement is, hey, we can use all of your stuff to train our AI.
Unreal.
So if you're
It
listening,
is what it is. Jeez.
I love that point. If you're listening, could you please make that happen?
Yeah.
That's it. What do we have next, Lance?
We have Mr. Kanye West is going to read for us. I know he's a great guy. I will say, Kanye, yay, if you are listening to this, which I know you are, is I just saw an article come out that your new wife is annoyed with your body odor. Like, I believe you are at the bleeding edge of fashion. It's okay to take off some of these layers of black clothing in the summer and or put on deodorant so you don't get another divorce.
You know what the best thing I've heard about the analysis of Kanye?
What?
Is that he's a battering ram for culture.
Sure.
You know, that
And
someone
BO.
has to hit the...
And body odor. I love you, yeah. You're my favorite rapper of all time. Just saying. Here we go.
I always felt like I could do anything. That's the main thing people are controlled by. Thoughts, their perception of themselves. They're slowed down by their perception of themselves. If you're taught you can't do anything, you won't do anything. I was taught I could do everything. Go listen to all my music. It's the codes of self-esteem. It's the codes of who you are. If you're a Kanye West fan, you're not a fan of me, you're a fan of yourself. You will believe in yourself. I'm just the espresso. I'm just a shot in the morning to get you going, to make you believe that you can overcome that situation that you're dealing with all the time.
That was awesome. You should cut out like a sentence of that and put that in the promo, in the beginning. Teaser.
Pretty good.
Dude, can you make it so, you know how we have our intro?
Yeah.
And then can you just make his voice for like 10 seconds? And then like it's part of it? Are you that good?
Yes.
Are you AI?
Well, no, I'm better than AI as far as editing videos go, but yeah.
Awesome.
That was good.
All right. How about we have we now have A.R.E. Jeopardy.
Yeah.
We'll bring down the crew, but you have a read?
Life is short, but you don't have to be. Introducing Kanzuri, the shoe brand that not only elevates your style, but also boosts your height. Yes, you heard that right. Kanzuri offers height-boosting shoes made for men to build up the confidence they need for every situation. With Kanzuri, you no longer have to settle for your natural height. Their shoes come in a variety of insoles, ranging from 1.2 inches to an impressive 2.7 inches of extra boost, plus their height ranges from 2.4 inches to 2.8 inches. Here's the shoe right here, giving you the perfect opportunity to look, feel good. As a special offer exclusively for our listeners, Kanzuri is giving you a fantastic deal. Just use promo code LANCE48066 at checkout to enjoy a generous 15% discount on your order today. That's right. Get the height-boosting shoes you have been dreaming of at an unbeatable price.
All right. Question number 1. Transitioning steel connections, so steel connecting to other steel, are typically fashioned in which manner? Is it A, welded, B, bolted, C, riveted, D, pinned? Let's go, Ross. This is for all the marbles. A, B. Typically bolted. Okay, question 2. In commercial construction, typical span ranges for beams are, this is steel beams, are 20 feet to 30 feet. Above this range, what is the most common economical alternative? Is it A, post-tension concrete, B, open web steel joists, C, open web wood joists, or D, wood trusses? In commercial construction, floor, typical span ranges for steel beams is 20 feet to 32 feet. Above this range, what is the most common economical alternative? Do you need, we got B and C. B is open web steel joist. That is correct. Lance. Fair.
All right. Number 3, according to the International Building Code, what is the minimum required width for an accessible route within a commercial building? Is it A, 30 inches, B, 32 inches, C, 36 inches, D, 42 inches?
Ross, feel free to write down the answer, too, if you...
According to the International Building Code, what is the minimum required width for an accessible route within a commercial building? A, 30 inches, B, 32 inches, C, 36 inches, D, 42 inches. We got C, 36 inches. Number 4, in a seismic design, what does the term importance factor, otherwise known as I, represent? Is it A, the structural material's ability to resist lateral forces, B, the level of occupancy within a building, C, the building's architectural significance, D, the building's proximity to an earthquake fault line? Good. Well, hopefully your guessing is good. Correct answer is C, the building's architectural significance. The term importance factor in seismic design does not represent the structural material's ability to resist lateral forces or the level of occupancy. Instead, it represents the building's architectural significance, which can influence the design requirements for earthquake resistance.
Wow. All right, where are we going to eat?
Bar 99 Saloon.
Where?
What is this?
The new one at the same owners as the Roost and Happy's.
Oh,
Where's
nice.
it at, though?
It's on Main Street.
That's cool.
Right downtown.
Okay.
I'm excited for it. That's it for me.
All right. If you like this episode, you're watching on YouTube, please leave us a positive comment. If you don't, I will ban you. If you are listening on iTunes, you know what to do. Leave us a 5-star review. I will not ban you there. See you next week.